Gentlemen, let me begin with a truth many of you have been told to ignore. If you're over 60 and every night feels the same, restless sleep, fading energy, mornings without strength, that is not just aging. That is your body crying out for help. And what most men don't realize is that the answer has been sitting quietly on their kitchen table all along. Not in a pill bottle, not in some risky procedure, but in the most ordinary gift nature provides: fruit. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott. For more than 30 years, I've dedicated my life to men's health, listening to your stories, studying your struggles, and helping men reclaim their dignity when they thought it was gone for good. I've sat across from thousands of men who lowered their voices and asked me, "Doctor, will I ever feel like myself again?" And I can tell you with conviction, yes, you can. But before we dive in, I need you to do something small that creates a ripple far greater than you realize. Press like on this video. Why? Because every time you do, the algorithm carries this message to another man out there, a brother who may be lying awake tonight thinking he is alone in his struggle. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Not for me, but for you. Because it means you'll never miss the next simple habit, the next science-backed solution that could restore your sleep, your energy, even your manhood. One click of like or subscribe may very well be the reason another man rediscovers his vitality. So let me ask you to join me tonight. If you believe healing is possible, type 1 in the comments. If you're still skeptical, type 0 and tell me why. I read every response because this space is built for real men with real questions and real hope. And now here's where our journey begins. Tonight, I'll show you 5 powerful fruit pairings that can restore blood flow, rebuild testosterone, calm your nerves, and sharpen your mind. I'll give you the timeline, what to expect in 7 days, 14 days, and 30 days. And I'll tell you the stories of men who came back to life, not with miracle drugs, but with nightly rituals built on the simplest foods. Our first step is circulation, the very foundation of manhood. Because without healthy blood flow, no desire, no hormone, no effort can sustain intimacy. And that's why we begin with 2 fruits that work together like nature's own prescription for blood vessels: pomegranate and watermelon. Gentlemen, let's be honest. An erection may feel like a mystery, but it's nothing more than blood flow. When circulation is strong, when blood vessels can open wide and carry life where it belongs, the body responds with strength and reliability. But when those vessels narrow, stiffen, or weaken, no desire and no amount of testosterone can change the outcome. That's why the very first step to restoring your manhood after 60 must begin with circulation. And there are 2 humble fruits that hold remarkable power to help you do just that: pomegranate and watermelon. Pomegranate has been celebrated in ancient cultures as a symbol of fertility and vitality. But what matters for us today is not the poetry, it's the biology. Inside its ruby seeds lies a dense concentration of antioxidants and polyphenols that protect the lining of your blood vessels, known as the endothelium. When this lining is healthy, it produces nitric oxide, the gas that tells your arteries to relax, expand, and allow blood to rush in. Without nitric oxide, those arteries remain tight and narrow, leaving you frustrated, weak, and uncertain. A clinical study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research back in 2007 showed that men who drank just a half cup, about 150 milliliters, of pure pomegranate juice daily reported firmer erections and greater satisfaction. It didn't happen overnight, but the consistency worked, proving that the male body can still respond even decades later if given the right tools. Watermelon may seem like a summer snack, but beneath that sweet flesh is a compound called L-citrulline. When you eat watermelon, your body converts citrulline into L-arginine, which then boosts nitric oxide levels even further. In 2011, the American Journal of Hypertension published research showing that men with mild erectile dysfunction who took citrulline supplements improved their erection hardness and performance. And watermelon provides this naturally, wrapped in fiber, water, and nutrients. Now imagine putting these 2 fruits together. Pomegranate protects and heals the vessels, watermelon fuels them with the raw material they need to expand. One strengthens, the other energizes. The combination doesn't force the body the way drugs do. It restores the natural system your body was designed to use. And when circulation is restored, confidence follows. I recall a man named Mr. Harris, a retired schoolteacher who came to me at 68 years old. He looked me squarely in the eye and admitted, "Doctor, the desire is still there, but my body won't follow. I feel like I've lost my courage." Those words were heavy not just with frustration but with shame, with the quiet grief of feeling less than himself. I didn't hand him a prescription. Instead, I gave him something deceptively simple, a nightly ritual. Every evening, I told him after dinner, pour yourself a small glass, about 120 to 150 milliliters of pure pomegranate juice, not the sugary blends, just the real thing. Then cut 2 or 3 slices of fresh watermelon, about 150 to 200 grams. Make it your dessert. Do this every night for 2 weeks. He laughed. Doctor, you mean the same fruit my grandkids spit seeds with on the porch? Yes, I said, that very one, but this time. It's medicine for you. 2 weeks later he returned, and I could see it before he even spoke. There was a light in his eyes, a quiet pride returning. Doctor, he said, it's not like I'm 20 again, but I felt something different, something stronger. I wasn't afraid to reach for my wife's hand. That was the turning point, not just firmness, but courage. Later, his wife sent me a note that read, "Thank you for giving me my husband back." That's when you realize this isn't about fruit, it's about dignity, about restoring the man inside. So how do you make this your own? The formula is simple. Drink half a cup, around 120 to 150 milliliters of pure pomegranate juice each evening. If you prefer the seeds, eat half a cup of the arils. Pair that with 2 or 3 slices of watermelon, about 150 to 200 grams. Do it consistently. About an hour before bed, not immediately after a heavy meal. If fresh pomegranate isn't available, bottled 100% juice works. If watermelon isn't in season, frozen cubes blended into a smoothie are a fine substitute. What matters is not perfection, but consistency. Make it your ritual, just like brushing your teeth. And don't underestimate what's at stake here. Erectile dysfunction is often the first warning sign of cardiovascular disease. I have sat across from men who thought their only problem was in the bedroom, only to discover through further testing that their arteries were dangerously clogged. Sometimes that discovery saved their lives. What heals your circulation doesn't just restore intimacy. It protects your heart, your brain, and your future. So tonight, if you're willing to take one small step, let it be this. Make pomegranate and watermelon your nightly ritual. Half a cup of juice. A few slices of fruit, nothing fancy, nothing extreme, just consistency night after night. Give yourself 2 weeks, then 30 days. Notice the subtle changes, falling asleep with less anxiety, waking up with more energy, feeling a quiet firmness return. These are not miracles. They are biology responding the way nature intended. Because when blood flows freely, life flows freely. Circulation is the first pillar of manhood. And with something as simple as pomegranate and watermelon, you can begin to rebuild it, day by day, night by night. Gentlemen, now that we've laid the foundation with circulation, we need to face the second pillar of manhood, sleep. You see, even if blood vessels are wide open and ready, if your body isn't producing enough testosterone, performance will still falter. And here's the truth no one tells you. Testosterone isn't built in the gym, and it doesn't come from wishful thinking. It's forged in the quiet hours of deep, restorative sleep. That's why the next pairing is so crucial. If circulation is the engine, then sleep is the fuel. And 2 simple fruits, cherries and kiwis, can help you reclaim both the depth of your rest and the surge of testosterone that should greet you every morning. Many of my patients first come to me not saying, "Doctor, I can't get an erection," but rather, "Doctor, I can't sleep. And when I wake up, I don't feel like a man anymore." Their voices are quieter when they say it, almost as if admitting it strips them of pride. Yet poor sleep and fading erections are twin thieves, robbing men of vitality, confidence, and intimacy. What still astonishes me after decades in medicine is that the solution so often begins in the simplest of places, the produce aisle of a grocery store. Let's begin with cherries, specifically tart cherries. They are one of the richest natural sources of melatonin, the hormone that signals to your brain it's time to rest. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition in 2012 showed that adults who drank tart cherry juice before bed extended their total sleep time by more than an hour. Think about what that means for a man over 60. 1 extra hour of deep sleep is not just more rest. It's an extra hour of testosterone production, an extra hour of muscle repair, an extra hour for your nervous system to reset. I once treated a man in his early 70s who had been battling insomnia for over a decade. He told me he tried every over-the-counter pill, but nothing worked without leaving him groggy in the morning. I suggested something almost embarrassingly simple. Each night, have a small bowl of cherries, about 10 to 12 tart cherries, or drink a half cup, around 100 milliliters, of unsweetened tart cherry juice. Do it about an hour before bed. He laughed at first, saying, "Doctor, you really think cherries are going to fix what sleeping pills couldn't?" But he tried it anyway. 10 days later, he returned with tears in his eyes. "Doctor, I slept through the night for the first time in years. And when I woke up, I felt different, stronger." That spark in his voice reminded me why I do this work. But cherries don't work alone. Add kiwi and the benefits multiply. Kiwi may not look like much, a fuzzy little fruit often overlooked on the shelf, yet it's packed with serotonin and antioxidants. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter that calms the nervous system and stabilizes mood. Anxiety and restless thoughts are two of the most common reasons older men lie awake at night. In a study published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2011, adults who ate 2 kiwis an hour before bed fell asleep 35% faster and experienced better sleep quality overall. Let me tell you about another patient, Mr. Alvarez, a 74-year-old widower who told me his greatest struggle wasn't loneliness but the long nights staring at the ceiling, unable to quiet his mind. He added 2 kiwis to his nightly routine, pairing them with a handful of tart cherries. Within 2 weeks, he reported falling asleep almost effortlessly, his restless nights replaced by deep, calm rest. What struck him most, however, wasn't just the sleep, it was the mornings. For the first time in years, he woke up with morning wood. To him, it was more than an erection. It was a sign that life still pulsed within him, that his body was not finished yet. This is where science and personal experience converge. Cherries provide melatonin to signal your brain it's time to sleep. Kiwi calms your nerves, reduces anxiety, and helps ease you into that sleep. Together, they don't just knock you out, they help you stay asleep, giving your body the time it needs to regulate hormones, repair tissues, and produce testosterone. Without that nightly repair, testosterone can fall by 10 to 15% in just a week of poor sleep. That's why so many men who suffer from insomnia also suffer from weak erections and fading desire. So how do you use this duo yourself? Keep it simple. Eat 10 to 12 tart cherries, or drink 100 ml of tart cherry juice about an hour before bed. Pair it with 1 to 2 kiwis peeled and eaten directly. Turn off the television, dim the lights, and treat this as a nightly ritual, not just a snack. That's it. No prescriptions, no complicated routines, just fruit. And yet, within a week or two, many men find themselves falling asleep faster, waking less often, and rising in the morning with more energy, more clarity, and yes, more strength. Gentlemen, don't underestimate the symbolism of this. When sleep returns, testosterone rises. When testosterone rises, vitality follows. And when vitality returns, intimacy becomes reliable again. It's not about chasing youth, but about reclaiming balance. One of my most touching moments came from a patient who told me, "Doctor, when I woke up with a firm erection after so many years, it wasn't just about sex, it was about feeling alive." That right there is the essence of this work. These are not small victories, they are life-changing. So tonight, if you want to take the next step, let it be this. Add cherries and kiwis to your evening, not as a chore, but as a gift to yourself. Because when you sleep deeply, your body rebuilds. When your body rebuilds, your manhood returns. And when your manhood returns, so does your confidence, your intimacy, and your joy. Circulation gave us the engine. Sleep gives us the fuel. And together, they prepare the body to rise with strength and dignity once again. But even with blood flow restored and testosterone rising, another challenge looms: the slow, silent damage of aging blood vessels. That's where the next pairing comes in: grapes and oranges, the antioxidant shield. Gentlemen, we've talked about circulation and we've talked about sleep. These are the first 2 pillars of manhood. But there is a third enemy you and I cannot ignore: oxidative stress. Think of it like rust eating away at your pipes. It slowly stiffens your arteries, weakens your vessels, and steals flexibility from your body. You don't always feel it day by day, but it's working in the background, aging your heart, your brain, and yes, your erections. This is where 2 everyday fruits step in like a shield: grapes and oranges. Together, they don't just add sweetness to your evening, they protect your blood vessels, guard your heart, and keep the fire of intimacy alive. Let's begin with grapes. The truth is, most of us think of grapes as something you toss into a fruit salad or nibble at a party. But within those small skins lies one of the most powerful compounds nature has given us: resveratrol. Resveratrol has been studied extensively for its ability to support endothelial function, the health of that thin lining inside your arteries. A study published in Circulation Research in 2010 showed that resveratrol increases nitric oxide availability and improves vessel relaxation. In plain language, grapes keep your arteries young, flexible, and capable of carrying blood where it's needed most. I had a patient, Mr. Thompson, 66 years old, who grew grapes in his backyard. He joked with me once, "Doctor, I have enough grapes to open a winery, but I never thought of them as medicine." I told him, "Every time you eat those grapes, you're giving your arteries a tune-up." He didn't believe me at first, but after several weeks of adding a bowl of grapes to his nightly routine, he admitted he felt stronger, more energetic, and yes, more capable in the bedroom. His wife confirmed it with a smile. Now let's talk about oranges. This fruit is so common that many of us dismiss it, thinking it's just about vitamin C for colds. But vitamin C does much more than that. It plays a critical role in producing collagen, the protein that keeps blood vessels strong and resilient. Without collagen, arteries lose their elasticity, becoming fragile and prone to damage. Oranges also reduce oxidative stress, that silent enemy that stiffens vessels and accelerates aging. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2008 found that higher vitamin C intake was directly linked to healthier vascular function and lower oxidative damage. When you combine grapes and oranges, you get balance. Grapes provide resveratrol to boost nitric oxide and relax vessels. Oranges provide vitamin C to strengthen those same vessels and protect them from damage. One relaxes, the other reinforces. Together, they create flexibility, resilience, and endurance. It's like maintaining a classic car. You can polish the exterior all you want, but unless you protect the engine and the pipes, it won't run the way it should. Your vascular system is no different. I remember another patient, Mr. Ellis, 69 years old, recently retired. He confessed to me that he avoided holding his wife's hand because he feared intimacy would lead to disappointment. "Doctor," he said, "I'd rather not start something I can't finish." I encouraged him to try something simple. Each evening, eat about 20 grapes, roughly 100 grams, and pair them with one fresh orange, eaten whole, not as juice from a carton. 6 weeks later, he came into my office with tears in his eyes. "I don't avoid her hand anymore," he said. "My confidence is back. My relationship is healing." It wasn't just his arteries that had opened, it was his heart. So how can you make this part of your life? Here's the practical blueprint. A small bowl of red or purple grapes, about 20 grapes, 100–120 grams. One medium orange, peeled and eaten in full, about 130 grams. Do this in the evening, perhaps as a dessert or light snack after dinner. Consistency is key. Aim for at least 5 nights a week, ideally every night. Think of it not as another chore, but as an evening ritual. Wash the grapes, peel the orange, and eat them slowly. Let it be a signal to your body that you're not just filling your stomach, you're investing in your vessels, your heart, and your intimacy. Gentlemen, what's good for your heart is good for your manhood. The same arteries that feed the heart also feed the penis. If they are stiff and clogged, you'll feel it first in the bedroom. By protecting them with grapes and oranges, you're not only guarding against heart attacks and strokes, you're restoring the very confidence that makes a man stand tall. This is not about chasing youth. It's about protecting dignity. It's about making sure that when your partner reaches for you, you can respond with strength, without fear. And sometimes, it starts with nothing more complicated than a bowl of grapes and an orange before bed. So far, we've built the engine with circulation, fueled it with sleep, and shielded it with antioxidants. But there's another challenge men over 60 face: the restless body, the racing mind, the fatigue that robs energy at night and steals performance by morning. That's where the next duo comes in: bananas and avocados, the natural team for relaxation and lasting energy. Gentlemen, we've built the foundation with circulation, restored the fuel with sleep, and shielded the arteries from oxidative stress. But there's another silent thief that robs men after 60: exhaustion. Not the kind that comes from a long day's work, but the restless fatigue that never seems to go away. The legs that cramp at night, the mind that races when you want peace, the mornings where you drag yourself out of bed already tired. And when intimacy arises, you find yourself without focus, without strength, without energy. This cycle of fatigue and anxiety is cruel. Poor sleep leads to poor energy leads to poor performance creates anxiety, and anxiety makes sleep worse. It becomes a wheel that spins faster the older you get. but I've seen how something as simple as two everyday fruits, bananas and avocados, can slow that wheel down, restore calm, and rebuild lasting energy. Bananas may look like nothing more than a convenient snack, but inside they're loaded with minerals that older men desperately need. Potassium is the first. It helps regulate blood pressure, relaxes blood vessel walls, and prevents the spasms and cramps that wake you at 2 in the morning. Magnesium is the second. Often called nature's tranquilizer, it calms the nervous system, lowers stress hormones, and prepares the body for rest. In fact, research published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition in 2018 found that magnesium supplementation improved sleep quality in older adults. A single medium banana contains about 30 milligrams of magnesium, enough to give your body a gentle push toward relaxation. I once treated a man in his 70s who complained of nightly leg cramps that would jolt him awake. He told me he dreaded going to bed because he knew the cramps would come. I suggested he add a banana to his evening routine. Eat it about an hour before bed, I said, and see what happens. 3 weeks later, he returned with a grin. Doctor, I slept without interruption for the first time in years, and for once I woke up rested enough to enjoy intimacy with my wife. That simple banana gave him back both rest and confidence. Now let's bring avocado into the picture. Avocado has long been praised for heart health, but its real gift for older men lies in its fats. Healthy monounsaturated fats are the building blocks of testosterone. Without enough dietary fat, your body struggles to produce and regulate hormones. Add to this the vitamin E packed inside avocados, a powerful antioxidant shown in studies to improve sperm quality and testosterone levels. A paper published in the Archives of Andrology in 2003 found that men with higher vitamin E intake showed improved reproductive health. But avocado's benefits don't stop there. Its creamy texture and nutrient profile create a sense of satisfaction that prevents late-night cravings. Stable blood sugar means steadier energy, calmer moods, and more reliable performance. Many men don't realize that sudden drops in blood sugar can trigger irritability, fatigue, and even erectile problems. Avocado smooths those swings, giving you a steady platform of energy that lasts through the night and into the morning. One of my patients, Mr. Delgado, age 70, came to me saying his biggest frustration wasn't just weak erections, but the feeling that his body was running on fumes. Doctor, he said, I wake up tired, drag through the day, and when my wife reaches for me, I panic because I know I don't have the energy. I gave him a ritual. Each night, take half an avocado, spread it on a slice of whole grain toast with just a pinch of sea salt. After that, eat one ripe banana. Do it after dinner about an hour before bed. 3 weeks later, he walked into my office smiling. Doctor, he said, my nights are calmer, my mornings sharper, and my confidence is back. His wife later sent me a note thanking me for giving her husband back. That's the power of food when used with intention. So here's how you can use this duo yourself. Avocado, half a fruit, about 50 to 70 grams. Spread it on whole grain toast or simply eat it sliced with a sprinkle of salt. Banana, 1 medium banana. About 100 to 120 grams, eaten whole. Timing, have the avocado and banana together about 1 to 2 hours after dinner and at least an hour before sleep. Consistency, make it a nightly habit. Don't think of it as an occasional snack but as part of your evening ritual. Gentlemen, relaxation and energy may sound like opposites, but in truth they are two sides of the same coin. Bananas help you calm down, soothe your nerves, and prevent nighttime disruptions. Avocados give your body the fuel to rise strong with steady hormones and lasting energy. Together, they prepare you not just to rest at night, but to wake with vitality in the morning. The beauty of this pairing is its simplicity. It's not exotic. It's not expensive. It's not hidden in a supplement aisle. It's sitting in your grocery store, waiting for you to bring it home and make it part of your life. And when you do, you may find that the cramps fade, the anxiety softens, the mornings sharpen, and the intimacy you thought was gone returns. Gentlemen, never underestimate the power of food to reshape your nights and your manhood. Bananas and avocados may seem ordinary, but they carry within them the ability to calm, to fuel, and to restore. We've now covered circulation, sleep, antioxidants, and relaxation with energy. But aging doesn't only attack the body, it also attacks the mind. Many men over 60 fear nothing more than losing clarity, memory, and focus. And when the mind slips, intimacy and confidence slip with it. That's why our next stop is a pairing that protects both the brain and blood sugar, apples and blueberries. Gentlemen, we've talked about circulation, about sleep, about protecting the vessels, and about calming the restless body. But there's another battlefield most men over 60 face, and it's one that strikes deeper than the body. It's the mind. Ask any man what he fears most about aging, and many will tell you it's not wrinkles, not gray hair, not even aches in the knees. It's the slow fading of clarity, the moment you forget a name, the conversation you lose track of, the fog that creeps in when you should be sharp. And behind that mental fog, there is often another silent thief: unstable blood sugar. These two are connected more closely than most men realize. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes, your brain suffers, your energy dips, your mood swings, your focus shatters. And when that happens, intimacy is no longer a joy, it becomes another frustration. That's why the next pairing matters so much. Apples and blueberries. Two fruits so common they often get overlooked can become quiet allies for both the brain and the bloodstream. Let's start with the apple. Crisp, familiar, taken for granted. Yet hidden inside is quercetin, a flavonoid that reduces inflammation and improves blood vessel flexibility. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2015 found that diets higher in flavonoids, especially from apples, were associated with lower risk of type 2 diabetes and better vascular health. Apples also deliver soluble fiber, which slows the release of sugar into your bloodstream. That means no more sharp spikes that leave you jittery, followed by the crashes that leave you exhausted. For older men, that stability is priceless. I remember a gentleman in his late 60s who came to me complaining that by mid-morning every day he felt drained. Doctor, it's like I hit a wall by 10 o'clock. My head is foggy, my body heavy. I don't have the energy to work, let alone be with my wife. I asked him to make one change: add an apple to his nightly routine, nothing dramatic, just one medium apple eaten whole, peel and all. 3 weeks later, he told me he woke up clearer, sharper, and with steady energy that lasted through the day. For the first time in years, he said, I didn't feel that morning fog weighing me down. Then there are blueberries, sometimes called brain berries, and for good reason. They are loaded with anthocyanins, antioxidants that not only protect blood vessels, but also cross the blood-brain barrier to shield neurons from oxidative stress. In 2010, the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry published a study showing that older adults who consumed blueberries regularly performed better on memory and learning tasks. Other research has linked blueberry intake with improved mood and sharper focus. Let me tell you about Mr. Whitaker, 71, who confided in me that intimacy had become awkward because his mind wandered. Doctor, he said, sometimes in the middle of the moment I forget what I'm doing. My wife notices, it embarrasses me, I feel like I'm disappearing. I suggested a simple ritual: each night eat one apple with the peel and alongside it a small bowl of blueberries, about half a cup, 75 grams. He did this faithfully. A month later, he came back with a different tone in his voice. Doctor, my mind caught up with my body again. I felt present with my wife, focused, and she noticed. His words carried relief but also pride. Here's how you can make this routine your own. Take one medium apple, about 150 grams. Eat it whole, peel included, that's where much of the quercetin and fiber live. Add half a cup of blueberries, about 75 grams, fresh if available. Frozen if not, freezing doesn't destroy the anthocyanins. Do this about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, not as a rushed snack but as part of your nightly ritual. Together, apples and blueberries create a balance your body craves. The apple steadies blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and keeps vessels supple. The blueberry sharpens the mind, protects neurons, and enhances circulation to the brain and the penis alike. One guards the body, the other fuels the mind. And together, they restore not just function but connection. Gentlemen, don't underestimate the impact of a clearer mind. Many of my patients have told me the most painful part of their struggles wasn't the loss of performance itself, but the shame of forgetting, of being distracted, of feeling absent in the moments that mattered most. When the brain is sharp and the blood sugar steady, intimacy changes. It becomes deeper, more connected, less burdened by worry. This is not about superfoods or exotic powders. It's about two fruits you've known your whole life. Simple, humble, inexpensive, yet powerful enough to sharpen memory, stabilize energy, and keep desire alive. And when the mind is sharp, when energy is steady, when confidence is restored, you don't just reclaim intimacy, you reclaim dignity. So tonight, as you think about your health, don't overlook the ordinary. An apple, A handful of blueberries. That small nightly choice could mean the difference between foggy mornings and clear ones, between distracted intimacy and connected intimacy, between feeling old and feeling alive. We've now covered the 5 great pairings: circulation with pomegranate and watermelon, sleep with cherries and kiwis, vessel strength with grapes and oranges, energy with bananas and avocados, and clarity with apples and blueberries. But I know what's on your mind now. Doctor, how long will this take? When will I feel something? That's the question every man asks. And that, gentlemen, is exactly what we'll explore next, the results you can expect in 7 days. 14 days and 30 days. Gentlemen, before we move forward to the results timeline, I want to pause for something that matters just as much as the science: your voices. I read your comments, your questions, your doubts. And I want to bring a few of them into this conversation because if one man asks, I guarantee 100 more are thinking the same thing. The first question comes from a gentleman named Robert, 72, who writes, Doctor, I've been eating kiwi every night for a week and I still wake up at 3 a.m. Wide awake. Am I doing something wrong? Robert, thank you for asking. Kiwi is powerful, but it's not magic. 1 week is just the beginning. Most of the studies show that 2 to 3 weeks of consistency are needed before sleep quality truly transforms. And remember, kiwi works best when you give your body the right signals. That means turning off the TV, dimming the lights, and letting your nervous system know it's time to wind down. The fruit sets the stage, but the environment cues the body. Give it time, and I believe you'll see the difference. The next question is from Anthony, 65, who asks, Doctor, I'm diabetic. Is pomegranate safe for me? Anthony, that's an important question. Yes, pomegranate can be safe for men with diabetes, but with one key condition: it must be pure juice, no added sugar, no blends. Better yet, eat the seeds themselves. Half a cup of arils gives you the benefits without spiking blood sugar sharply because the fiber slows absorption. And here's something worth noting: studies suggest that pomegranate may even improve insulin sensitivity over time. So don't fear it, just keep it pure, keep it moderate, and let it work for you, not against you. Here's another comment, this one from Gerald, 70. Dr. Avocado is high in fat. Won't it make me gain weight? Gerald, I hear that concern often, but not all fats are created equal. The fats in avocado are monounsaturated, the kind that nourish your heart, stabilize hormones, and actually help the body burn energy more efficiently. They don't store in the same way unhealthy fats do. In fact, many men who add avocado to their nightly meal report feeling more satisfied, which reduces late-night snacking and helps with weight control. So think of avocado not as an enemy, but as a quiet ally in keeping both your waistline and your testosterone in balance. Now from Samuel, 68, Doctor, do frozen blueberries have the same benefit as fresh? Samuel, the answer is yes. The anthocyanins, the antioxidants that make blueberries so powerful for the brain, survive freezing very well. In fact, some studies suggest frozen berries may even release certain compounds more easily when thawed. So if you can't get fresh, don't worry. A half cup of frozen thawed blueberries in the evening still feeds your brain and your blood vessels in the same way. And here's one that made me smile, from Richard, 74. Doctor, you talk about cherries and morning erections. Are you really telling me fruit can bring back morning wood? Richard, I appreciate the candor. Yes, I am telling you that, because morning erections are a reflection of 2 things: deep sleep and healthy testosterone. When cherries help you extend sleep and kiwis help you fall asleep faster, the body produces more testosterone in those crucial hours. Add steady circulation from pomegranate and watermelon, and what you get is not a gimmick, but biology returning to form. And when biology works, mornings come alive again. Now, let me address a comment that was less a question and more a challenge. A man named Frank wrote, Doctor, this all sounds too good to be true. You really expect me to believe fruit can fix what pills couldn't? Frank, I understand your skepticism. Decades of disappointment can leave scars. But here's the truth: pills often force the body, while food restores it. Fruit is not a quick trick. It's a slow, steady rewiring of your biology. Will it work overnight? No. Will it work in every single man? No. But in 30 years, I've seen enough men come back to life through simple, consistent habits to tell you with certainty it is worth trying, not because it's flashy, but because it's foundational. And to the gentleman who wrote, Doctor, are you just saying this to get views? Let me answer you directly. I share this because I've seen too many men suffer in silence, too many men lose their marriages, too many men feel broken when they didn't have to. If a simple piece of fruit can give even one of you back your dignity, then yes, I will keep speaking about it again and again. Gentlemen, keep these questions coming. Leave your comments below, type your doubts, your stories, your victories. I promise you I read them, and in future episodes, I will bring more of your voices into this conversation. Because this is not just me talking at you. This is us, building a community of men who refuse to give up on themselves. Now I know what's burning in your minds. Doctor, when will I feel the difference? How long before I notice real change? That's the question every man asks, and it's the one I'll answer next. Because when you know what to expect in 7 days, 14 days, and 30 days, the journey becomes not just hopeful, but truly exciting. Gentlemen, by now you've heard about 5 powerful fruit pairings and the stories of men who used them to reclaim what they thought was lost forever. But I know the question sitting at the edge of your mind, the same one I've heard across thousands of clinic visits. Doctor, how long will it take before I feel something? When will I know this is working? It's an honest question. Because by the time a man is 60, 70, even 80, he's usually tried so many promises that led to disappointment. Pills that worked for a night and left him drained the next day. Supplements that emptied his wallet without giving back his strength. When you've been through that cycle, you don't just want theory, you want a timeline. You want to know when life will feel different again. Let me answer you with clarity. Based on science, based on the clinical studies I've shared, and based on 30 years of walking alongside men like you, here is what you can realistically expect when you begin this nightly ritual of fruit pairings. In the first 7 days, the changes are subtle but undeniable if you pay attention. Men often report falling asleep faster, no longer staring at the ceiling for hours. The tossing and turning begins to ease. With cherries and kiwis working on your sleep chemistry, your body begins to sink into deeper stages of rest. And in that deep rest, testosterone production quietly rises. I've had men tell me that after just a week they woke without the heavy fog that had clung to their mornings for years. A few even whispered, with a smile they hadn't worn in decades, "Doctor, I felt a morning firmness I thought was gone for good." By 14 days, the changes grow stronger. Energy during the day becomes steadier. The crash at 2 o'clock in the afternoon no longer hits with the same force. Men describe having enough energy to finish chores, play with grandchildren, or even take a walk with their wife without feeling drained. Erections at this stage often become firmer, more reliable, and easier to achieve. One man told me on his 12th day he surprised himself. He wasn't afraid to initiate intimacy. That shift in mindset from fear to confidence is as powerful as the physical change itself. Because when your mind trusts your body again, desire returns naturally. And then comes the 30-day mark. This is where the transformation is undeniable. Erections that were once weak or inconsistent appear regularly, especially in the morning. Sleep is restorative, not just hours in bed, but hours in deep healing rest. Energy lasts throughout the day. Men tell me they feel more alive, more present, more engaged, not just with intimacy, but with life itself. I remember a patient, 71 years old, who had nearly given up. After a month of faithfully eating these fruit pairings, he sat in my office with tears streaming down his face. "Doctor," he said, "I feel alive again." My wife notices. My kids notice, even I notice. I don't feel like an old man anymore. That is the power of consistency. That is the power of giving your body the raw materials it needs to rebuild, not a pill, not a gimmick, but night after night of small, faithful choices. Gentlemen, let me speak to you plainly. You are not broken. You are not finished. Your body still knows how to heal, how to repair, how to rise with strength and dignity. What age has taken? Consistent care can give back. These fruits are not magic. They are reminders that nature has always given us what we need. We only need to use it. So here is my challenge to you. Give yourself 30 days, not 3 years, not 3 months, just 30 days. Follow the ritual. Make the pairings part of your nightly routine. Then watch how your life shifts, first in sleep, then in energy, then in intimacy, and finally in confidence. And before you leave tonight, I ask something simple but powerful. Press like on this video. Because every time you do, the message travels further to another man sitting awake in the dark, feeling alone, thinking he is finished. Your click may be the reason he discovers hope. Subscribe if you haven't already, because each week I bring you another step, another strategy, another lifeline for men over 60, and leave your comment. If you believe this can work for you, type 1. If you're still skeptical, type 0 and tell me why. I promise I read everyone. Gentlemen, reclaiming your manhood is not about chasing youth. It's about restoring dignity, intimacy, and joy. You still have strength left in you. You still have mornings waiting to rise with confidence. You still have love to give and life to live. And it begins with something as humble, as ordinary as a piece of fruit. So tonight, I leave you with this blessing. May your sleep be deep. May your mornings be strong, and may your heart carry you forward with courage. You are not broken, you are becoming whole again.